Hello and welcome to Bryan Living and Learning. I'm Alan Bruggman from the City of Bryan's Communications Department.
And I'm Sandy Ferris, the Communications Director for Bryan ISD. Among the stories we'll show you today include a look at a new vet tech program at Hammond Oliver. Some Bryan Collegiate students recently raised over $2,000 for breast cancer awareness research, and we'll check in with some 5th graders who get an important lesson in working together as a team.
The City of Bryan will show you some highlights from this most recent Fall Fest, which took place in downtown Bryan. We'll give you our latest council update feature, and we'll also preview the upcoming Lights On event, which is later this month. But before we get to those stories, new Bryan Police Chief Eric Buskey's been on the job for a couple of months. He was recently the honorary guest at a reception held by the NAACP. It was a mix of community members and police officers at a welcome reception for Bryan Police Chief Eric Buskey.
We wanted him to know that we're welcoming him to the community as a whole. There are 3 of us that is co-sponsoring this reception: the Brazos County NAACP, the ministers from the Greater Friendship District Association, and the ministers from Central District Association.
Buskey has stated that he will continue the community policing initiative that the BPD has already undertaken. And getting to shake hands and meet community members is a great way to let folks in Bryan know that the police department is here for them, and that support goes both ways.
We wanted Chief Buskey to know that we're in his corner, whatever he needs us to do. We started this relationship with Bryan PD some 5-6 years ago, and we wanted to make sure that we kept this relationship up.
For a more in-depth look at Chief Buskey's policing philosophies, check out Bryan Living and Learning episode 30 on bryantx.gov.
Well, Alan, Chief Buskey's been here since September. I know he's been very busy getting to know the community. Yeah, for all the stories that we go uncover for the show here in Bryan Living and Learning, we see him at pretty much every event. The new vet tech program at Hammond Oliver began this year and is providing yet another way for those students to gain some insight into the world of medicine.
This program has been in the works for at least 3 years. Terry Hausen-Fluck, who's the ag teacher over at Bryan High, one of them, and I have been trying to get this put together. And finally this year it came into being. We have 12 seniors this year who are out on internships right now, various veterinary clinics around town. All 12 have a place to go, and they go 2 days a week in the mornings. They're all the way from the equine center, where they deal only with horses, to very nice small animal clinics here in town. And all the vets have been great about helping us out. There's a lot of concern these days about liability, but we have enough vets here who want to step in and be a part of our young people's lives, help to give them some direction, even if it's to find out that's not what they want to do. So we've been very lucky to be here in Bryan College Station with the veterinarians that we have. There is a big shortage of veterinarians who deal with the food animals, the large animals. So we have stepped in with an ultimate goal of increasing the number of veterinarians who treat large animals. So we're just trying to find places where there is a need and where the students have an interest. And if we can give them a head start when they get out of high school, then everybody wins. The state of Texas puts pretty big requirements on students for a veterinary assistant certification. It's really how dedicated the student is. They have to pass a state test, and they have to have 500 hours in a veterinary clinic or something comparable. All of the vets are not new to this program. Some of them have taken some of Miss Wright's interns in years past because they were interested in vet medicine. And so they welcome them back. The students have to send out a letter and a resume introducing themselves to the clinic. It's really up to them to get the sites. They sell themselves and they go for an interview in a lot of cases, and then the vet decides if they can work with them, they can take them or not. So it's wide open what they can do, and they get to do some of the neatest stuff. I'm pretty excited to even get to go see what they're getting to see. They help intake clients and their patients in the morning, do some of the background check, first evaluations. They have drawn blood. They have given some shots. They do lots of the lab work, checking for parasites and really applying what they do in the science labs here. And they even get to assist in surgeries. And it's pulling everything together that they've done at Hammond Oliver. They can go in there and they can speak the language. They know the medical terminology. They know the anatomy. They know the different lab tests. They know how to use the microscope. They know how to do all those things. So it's a good feeling for them. And it's a really good feeling being a teacher at Hammond Oliver to see what all of us work for really fall into place.
Well, Sandy, I remember seeing some Hammond Oliver kids in a previous episode as interns. Are those the same group?
This is actually a different group of students in the vet tech program, and then in a few weeks we'll be telling you about a pharmacy tech program at that campus as well.
Fall Fest 2009 was once again held in downtown Bryan, and as always it was a good mix of people, games, and pumpkins. Fall Fun was the theme at the annual Fall Fest in downtown Bryan on October 24th. Hundreds flocked to downtown's day-long event to start Halloween a week early and to celebrate a perfect weather day. Of course, the highlight of the event was the pumpkin carving tent, sponsored by the City of Bryan. Kids and adults could carve their own pumpkins for inclusion in the evening's pumpkin walk. Children were also able to play on several inflatables set up throughout downtown and even had the opportunity to meet Shrek, whose movie was shown later that night at the Palace Theater. The Reptile Hospice and Sanctuary of Texas was also on hand to show off some of their iguanas, snakes, and turtles. Their booth was definitely a fan favorite. And the carnival atmosphere of Fall Fest wouldn't have been complete without all the games and the art tent for the kiddos. On the day before Halloween, City of Bryan employees got into the Halloween spirit by dressing up in their costumes. The City of Bryan Halloween Costume Contest once again brought out some interesting characters to the City Municipal Building. There was a lady in a bubble bath, a zombie prom queen, and Medusa, who won the scariest award from a panel of judges. The judges, who included City Manager David Watkins, Deputy City Manager Hugh Walker, and Internal Auditor Bob Schultz, also judged a group of angels and demons, and a count and his countesses from accounting. The group award went to members of Risk and HR who posed as college football fans at a tailgate party, and for the best all around,
the zombie couple.
The zombie couple was Chris and Letitia Alvarado.
Well, Alan, it looks like that event proves that no matter what the age, Halloween can still bring out the kid in some people.
Yeah, it definitely can. I personally didn't dress up, but a lot of the city employees had a good time showing off their costumes.
Raising money for breast cancer awareness took on a pep rally-like atmosphere at Bryan Collegiate.
When students at Bryan Collegiate High School met for their Pink Out celebration, it wasn't your average pep rally. This pep rally was for a bigger cause than any high school athletic event. Bryan Collegiate students were celebrating the fact that they had raised over $2,300 to be donated to breast cancer research. The rally involved musical performances by various school groups, a recognition of the class that raised the most money, and then a march down the street to Bryan Radiology. Students sported pink ribbons and face paint and carried signs and a giant paper chain that spanned the distance between the school and the clinic.
Well, Sandy, it's great to see those collegiate high school students come together for a good cause.
It is, and they actually weren't the only ones to be involved in that event. A week later, the Bryan Vikings got involved with their annual Pink Out event at one of their home games and raised some money as well.
We now take you to our next feature on the City Council Update with our Communications Director.
Hi, I'm April Saganor with the City of Bryan Communications Department. We're here today to talk about the most recent City Council meeting on October 27th, when our City Council met with the Planning and Zoning Commission to talk about the P&Z's plan of work for the year 2010. Some of their goals for 2010 include a review and update of the Highway 47 corridor overlay standards. They also want to do a study of future land use and development potential along Beck Street, and a study of the future land use and development potential along the College Main corridor. The Council and P&Z meet at least once a year to ensure that their goals are consistent. The group agreed in this recent meeting that one way to raise the taxable value in the City of Bryan is to improve existing properties one at a time. Council members said they were pleased with the work that city staff has done to improve Bryan's image, and added that they like the direction P&Z is going with its 2010 plan of work. And remember, if you want to watch a council meeting in its entirety, you can always log on to bryantx.gov.
Recently, the City of Bryan had another successful United Way fundraiser at Sue Haswell Park. Each year, the City of Bryan raises money for United Way with a hamburger lunch at Haswell Park. The 2009 version of the fundraiser had the same traditional highlights: hamburger lunch, tables of desserts, money jars, and Bryan employees having a good time. One new addition this year was an inflatable jousting event.
Well, I really appreciate all of you showing up today for the United Way Luncheon. The money that we'll raise today goes to a very, very worthy cause. It helps to fund many different agencies that serve people in the entire Brazos Valley area.
Though the final numbers haven't been calculated, the lunchtime event once again came through with big bucks for United Way, raising nearly $3,000 according to preliminary numbers. The money is raised from hamburger lunch plates served by members of the Bryan Fire Department, auctions of the desserts that were prepared by city employees, and donations submitted to jars with employees' names on them. Based upon the amount of money in those jars, that particular employee was called to the jousting inflatable to compete against a coworker. Here are some of the highlights from the competition. The next City of Bryan United Way fundraiser is a Christmas-themed silent auction in December.
Alan, it looks like it's easy to raise money when you combine that with a fun event.
Yeah, I think this is the first year they had that inflatable jousting event set up out there, and it definitely was a crowd favorite.
Some Bryan 5th graders are getting a chance to learn about not only construction but teamwork as well as they participate in Blinn College's If I Had a Hammer program.
They may not be ready for full-time jobs in the construction industry just yet, but a group of 5th graders from Johnson Elementary recently spent some time learning about construction when they participated in the If I Had a Hammer program at Blinn College. 5th grade classes throughout the district participate in the program at different times throughout the school year.
Well, we target the 5th graders because it seems like the right age for building the house where the boys and the girls are both interested in it. I've been doing this for 8 years now. Blinn has been doing it for 9 years. It's a great program. It's a great way for kids to learn why all the education that they're taking now is so important in life.
The program integrates the students' academic subject matter with a fun, hands-on activity as students work together to assemble an 8-foot by 11-foot house in less than 3 hours.
They're learning some about every subject that they study in school. You know, besides just building a house, they're learning that they're using their math, their science, their history, art, you name it. Every subject that they're studying is gone into the building of this house.
The finished product, a freestanding house complete with windows, doors, and a front porch, is the result of teamwork, communication, and the real-life application of classroom concepts. Students also build self-esteem and experience the powerful sense of accomplishment that comes from hard work.
You know, you get these kids that come in that have an attitude or upset or having a bad day and stuff like that. And the best part to me is working with those kids and trying to get them, at the end of the day, you see them handing the drill off to the person next to them and helping them to get the house finished, you know. And that's the most rewarding thing to me, is to see the kids that actually change through the course of the day.
Well, Sandy, that looks like a pretty neat project for students as young as 5th graders to undertake.
It is, and what's really neat about it is how they incorporate curriculum such as history and math into the overall project.
We've been telling you on past Be Green in Bryan segments how you, the citizen, can be more green here in Bryan. Well, now we're going to show you what City of Bryan employees are doing to help our community. In an effort to practice what we preach, the City of Bryan has stepped up the in-house recycling effort for employees. Starting this month, employees at all the city buildings will receive their own recycling receptacles to cut down on waste.
Each office worker, whether it be at the City of Bryan or in a local business, on average throws away 1 pound of recyclables each day. So we looked at those numbers and we said we need to make sure that everybody within the City of Bryan is recycling. And so that's really where this is coming from.
There are already several recycling bins located in all the city office buildings. Those bins are emptied at the Bryan Recycling Center, but the new effort will hopefully increase the amount that is reused.
The City of Bryan has always recycled in-house. We're very proud of our program. We have high numbers and we have a lot of people within the city that take part in the office recycling. But we wanted to give the employees an opportunity to get involved, have an incentive program, and make it worthwhile while also offering them a more convenient way to do it by giving them recycle bins.
And just in case there happen to be a few random employees who aren't on board with the recycling, there will be incentives.
To make it more fun, we've started a employee incentive program called Get Caught Recycling. So on a quarterly basis, I'll visit one department within the city and check out each employee's recycle bin and their garbage can. And if they have recyclables in their recycle bin and they have no recyclables in their trash can, then they get a gift of some sort just as a thank you for recycling.
Remember, if you want to recycle your items, just drive through the Bryan Recycling Center at the Walmart parking lot.
Alan, these are some great ideas. I imagine other businesses in town would be interested in doing this.
Yeah, if any of those businesses or any individuals want to find out some more about these efforts, you can always log on to begreenandbryan.com.
For the past several years, every second grader in Bryan and College Station has received a bicycle helmet through the Hard Hats for Little Heads program.
This is the second year for Hard Hats for Little Heads. It is a program that gives helmets to all of our second graders in Bryan College Station. We have roughly 1,260 second graders in Bryan, and all will receive a helmet free of charge. 2 years ago, Dr. DeJong from College Station presented an idea to both school districts, Bryan and College Station, getting together and having a helmet safety program, and the program grew and decided that it would be nice if we could give helmets to the students, and that became part of it. And then A&M got involved in it, and last year we had football players, softball players, baseball players, equestrian riders, bicyclists that were all wore helmets that were A&M athletes, and demonstrating why they wore the need for the helmet. So we would really like to thank Dr. DeJong's office and Mary Whitmire, who works for him, John Thornton at Texas A&M, he's assistant athletic director, that has been instrumental in getting the A&M athletes, Aggies involved in the program, and the second grade teachers and principals of the schools that have agreed to participate in taking time away from their instructional day for something that we feel is very important. What we hope that comes out of this, that we see children with helmets on all around Bryan College Station, riding bicycles, skateboarding, and having their heads protected.
Well, Sandy, I know those A&M football players wouldn't go on the field without their helmet. Good to see they're reminding the kids they shouldn't be on a bike without one either. That's right. The Aggie athletes have been involved for a number of years with this event, and it really has an impact on the students to hear firsthand from those athletes how important that equipment is. A Bryan development recently broke ground for a new clubhouse worth $6 million. On a windy day, Traditions officials, folks from the city of Bryan, and representatives from A&M's men's and women's golf teams gathered to have a slab-breaking ceremony for a brand new clubhouse at their Traditions development. The clubhouse has been a long time coming. There were plans as far back as the year 2000.
The lack of a clubhouse has kind of been like a black cloud hanging over this for a long time, and it's kind of like today, the sun's coming out now and things are getting brighter. What, 12, 15 months or something, it'll all be done. We'll be standing here in the bright sunshine and having an opening celebration. So the city's excited about that. I know everybody else is, so it won't take a lot of time. I'll just tell you thank you for coming, and let's break a slab.
The plans for Traditions aren't stopping with the clubhouse. Traditions officials say they hope to bring in a hotel, retail space, and a larger fitness center to the development. But for now, the crown jewel will be the 25,000 square foot clubhouse which is set to be open sometime during the 2010 football season.
What we're excited about out here is that we see ourselves in this club not just as your prototypical country club. There's a lot of country clubs in the world. There's some very, very fine ones. We hope to take the fine level that we have already achieved here, the previous group already achieved, and take it even a little bit further.
Perhaps the happiest people at the whole event were J.T. Higgins and Trell McCombs, the head golf coaches for A&M's men's and women's golf teams, respectively. Both golf teams already call Traditions home and are thrilled to have a new clubhouse.
We love Traditions. It has been, without a doubt, the single driving force behind our team's improvement over the years and eventual championship. And now having a place where we can actually gather, bring recruits, donors, spend more time with the membership of the club. We're really excited about that.
And McCombs made the exciting announcement that in large part because of the new clubhouse, the women's team will host the 2011 NCAA Women's Golf Championships here in Bryan.
Alan, that looks like it's going to be a great facility. I know a lot of people have waited quite some time for that to be built.
Yeah, you can tell by the large turnout at that slab breaking ceremony that people were definitely looking forward to it.
Crockett Elementary is 60 years old this year, and we spent some time at their anniversary celebration in early November.
Since 1949, Crockett Elementary has served students in the Bryan community. There's quite a history in Crockett Elementary as the district's oldest elementary school campus still in use. And recently, guests were invited to browse that history as Crockett hosted its 60-year anniversary party with a community-wide reception.
Crockett, when I got here a couple of years ago, they've always had anniversary celebrations of their birthdays, and the last one my assistant principal, Jessica Paney, had helped organize, and so she told me that we would need to do one for 60 years. As we were going through closets and cleaning out things, we found several boxes of memorabilia and lots of old pictures and old yearbooks and all of those kinds of things. And so the faculty as a group got together one afternoon after school and put those together in little booklets and things like that, organized them and got them ready for the celebration itself. Some of the older yearbooks or scrapbooks were dated, some of the pictures were dated, some of them weren't, and we just had to kind of guess about where they might fit in. Several of the teachers had gone to school here. Several of the staff members had taught here for a long time. We have one staff member that's been here over 30 years, and so she was able to say, well, I think that was when, and that way we were pretty much able to put a date to most of those things. We had yearbooks dating back to the early 50s. We had a t-shirt that was from the first year the school opened. We had, from years in the recent past, we had their annual yearbooks and those kinds of things. Of course, back in the 50s, they didn't keep yearbooks, but they just kept scrapbooks. So a lot of them had the teacher's handwriting on them and had the list made by the teachers themselves. So that was fun to look and see those kinds of things. We had mostly just pictures and things that were at the school during that time. The t-shirts and those kinds of things that we had on display, some of those had belonged to staff members or community members, and they brought those in to share. Crockett opened in 1949. It has been renovated several times throughout the years. The most recent renovation was when they came in and really did update the classrooms. They added the kindergarten wing that we now have on the building. And then they increased the size of the cafeteria and the library and made those things fit the needs of kids today. So while the building itself the outside is here from years ago. I remember when I was here in 1958, going down that long hallway where the third grade was and where the third grade is today. So those things haven't changed. It's just the makeup of the rooms. We've increased the size of them to meet the requirements of today. So it's just pretty much the same building. We're very fortunate because we have a gym. In those days, they built gyms in all their schools, and so we have a gym that we're able to use for PE and for assemblies and that kind of thing, and that makes a big difference on a campus, so that's been fun. The size of the playground and the lot that the school is on, we have the whole block, and so it's a lot bigger than you'll find at most schools. At this point, the library has been opened, but originally it was much smaller than it is now. Just different things that, there's little cubby holes and little crooks and places that are still there, and they've been there for the whole 60 years. Yeah, but Crockett is still Crockett. It's just the same school that it's always been. We had a very good turnout. Probably had about 100 people that came and were actually community members and people that had gone to Crockett, and then of course the staff was here. So we had a lot of reminiscing and talking about things in the past and all of those kinds of things that made it fun to see people that had been here years ago. There were lots of former staff members, lots of people that had worked in Bryan for many years. Some of those Bryan names that we know, Thurmond and Briscoe, and so it was whether they were notable or not, they're notable to us because they went to Crockett, so that makes them important to us. Several people just mentioned about how times have changed so much and the pictures look so different, and the teachers would show each other, here's when I was at Crockett, or here's what I looked like when I was in second grade, and those kinds of things. The community members would look to say, I remember when I started school here, one of them had even started school here when it first opened. So it was exciting just to see them look back at those times and remember those good things about going to school here in Bryan and at Crockett.
Well, congratulations to Crockett Elementary on the anniversary. It looks like they have quite a history.
They do. Crockett is currently our oldest elementary school still in service. SFA is actually our oldest building still in service, but both of those have great histories behind them.
Coming up at the end of November, it's the second annual Lights On event in downtown Bryan.
The City of Bryan invites you to the second annual Lights On Downtown Holiday Celebration, November 19th at Gloria Stephan Sale Park in downtown Bryan. Kick off the evening at 5:30 with a Chamber of Commerce business after hours at the Children's Museum, followed by a reception celebrating the opening of the Forsyth Gallery on Main Street. Come enjoy food, entertainment, and over 64,000 lights. Discover your downtown wonderland November 19th at 7 p.m. on Main Street in beautiful downtown Bryan.
That's all we have for you on this episode of Bryan Living and Learning. To watch the show again, you can log on to bryantx.gov, youtube.com/City of Bryan.
You can also go to bryanisd.org, or you can use our newest communication tool, twitter.com/BryanISD or twitter.com/City of Bryan.
And now you can watch on the go by subscribing to our podcasts. They're downloadable right to your iPod.
For Bryan ISD, I'm Sandy Ferris.
And I'm Alan Bruggman for the City of Bryan. Thanks for watching.